I do too, because it answers a lot of questions that people don't know.
That's right.
He's got to put, what is it? What is,
Surprise guest.
Directly involved.
what is Box?
Yeah, now I know I'm fairly fast to go.
And here we are to do study Matthew chapter 11. So I decided that we would start in prayer just to be
Kosher.
churchy people.
You say
Shall we?
kosher?
Let's go to God in prayer. Precious Lord, thank you for loving us. It is what makes all the difference. Prepare our hearts for a conversation about your word, Lord, and let it speak to us to enrich our lives so that we may enrich the lives of others. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Matthew 11. I bet you guys, a bunch of you read it. So any questions before I start? Before I take us on the direction I see? So tell me what you're worried about. What do you want to talk about? Anything?
I think they'll come up.
I think they will come up. I was attempting to be polite. It's not my strong suit. But yeah.
There's a lot of red in this chapter.
There's a lot of red. Oh, isn't that nice?
It is.
Did you guys grow up with Bibles with Jesus' words in red?
Mm-hmm.
I did too. I really miss it that I don't have that in my Bible now.
Maybe
It's a
you'll
cool
touch
thing.
on it, but why does John the Baptist not recognize Jesus?
Why does he
That's
not?
where we're going.
Recognize Jesus.
And recognize is an interesting word to use. Yeah.
Or when you get there?
Yeah, we're about to get there.
Okay.
Someone want to read chapter 11, verses 1 through 6 for us, please?
I will start. Now it came to pass, when Jesus finished commanding his 12 disciples, that he departed from there to teach and to preach in their cities. And when John had heard in prison about the works of Christ, he sent two of his disciples and said to him, Good morning. Are you the coming one, or do we need to look for another? Jesus answered and said to them, Go and tell John these things, which you will hear and see. The blind see, and the lame walk, and the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he who is not offended because of me. He said 1 through
It's
6,
exactly
right?
what I wanted read.
Okay.
Okay, so I think this is very interesting. This
So,
I think-
so to answer that question, John was in prison,
Yeah.
and that's what he wasn't sure of, even though he'd already baptized him.
Yeah, he baptized him, so he met him.
Right.
Well, and so
He
what?
said, just one other piece, he
Uh-huh.
said, I'm not worthy to untie his sandals.
Right.
So it sounded like he knew who it was.
He does. I
Right.
think he does. So
Yeah.
why is John sending word through intermediaries, since he's in prison, that he'd like to check the details of this guy Jesus? Is this right? Is this the Son of God? What's happening? What do you think? Why do you think he's checking in on this?
Well, he's in jail.
He's in jail.
And he
right?
couldn't see him, so he didn't,
He's not seeing him.
he's only hearing
He's
hearsay.
got rumors. Yes, he's hearing, chasing down a rumor.
He's confused too, because it wasn't the perception that Jesus would come as a warrior and kind of wipe out the Romans and
Yes.
everything else.
And that's where I'm leaning. Doesn't mean it's the right answer. It's the answer I came up with. But I'm open to others. But I really see that John is like, I thought there was going to be fireworks.
Right.
Right.
I thought there was going to be judgment or a change in regime change or was there going to be an outpouring of mercy? I think John was expecting something else.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with where you went, Bob, but I think it's broader than that. I think it is nobody knew what the Messiah was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and should they have known? Well, if you were a good Old Testament scholar, you would. But the truth is, nobody knew.
And I think they were hoping for a lot bigger change.
Sure.
So they probably wanted a little more power, so as time went on, they may have convinced themselves that when he does come, he's going to come in fast and hard and change everything at once. But his changes were subtle.
The changes are subtle. I mean, Jesus has talked about burning up the chaff. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
which sounds kind of in your face. But now he's spending an awful lot of time rebuilding the kingdom. This sounds like it could be, this conversation could happen today.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
This is also a statement.
Say
By
what?
asking, he's saying, I am not, which is something that many people
Excellent.
needed to hear, including his own disciples. needed to hear
Nice. He's delineating
that. Yeah,
the roles.
yeah.
Yeah, he was the precursor.
Who's delineating the roles? Jesus.
John the
John
I
the
think
Baptist.
John is
delineating
delineating the
roles,
roles just by asking these questions. In my mind, that's what I'm reading.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think about, does it feel like an attitude? Go and tell John what you've seen and heard. Is there an attitude in that, or is it more matter of fact? Go
I
and
think
tell
it's a
John.
matter of.
I think it's a matter
Yeah,
of fact.
okay.
No, I think so too. I think it's a subtle thing.
It's a subtle thing.
And he
They-
wants them to
they-
think.
Say it one more
Steve,
time.
he wants them to think.
He wants
Look what
them-
look what you've seen, witness what you've seen. And,
And they're going to be looking too. Jesus has far less attitude than people today do. He doesn't need to be sarcastic and mocking to make his point.
Yeah.
He just says, look at the truth. Look at what you see.
Yeah, tell him what you've seen and heard. Jesus is not looking for meeting another person's expectations. He's looking at creating a kingdom of believers based on love in the main.
Nancy and I were struck this morning by a contrast here. We read first Christ in our home, which took us into the middle of chapter 12, where Jesus warned them not to make him known. And we read that, and then we said, okay, so let's read Matthew 11 and get ready for class. And, you know, go back, go and tell, what am I looking for, the specific? You know, go back and tell what you hear and see.
Yep.
And I just thought that was such a contrast, and, you know, we'll look at 12 next week too.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot who he's talking to too.
I think it is.
And
And he was
there's
just
some
talking
people he
to
doesn't want
John.
it to get out because the way it's maybe gonna be translated by them, he's not really sure they're gonna translate it properly. He's been training his apostles to go out and spread his word.
Oh, I like
But the common person is like when they hear the two blind people not knowing to tell anybody. Blah, 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 yeah.
Well, think about it. Think about we are the church, and you know there's lots more out there, but we are the church. And in different conversations and different moments, do you ever, with some people, say, "Yeah, we need to get more involved in that. Let's do that," and with others, you say, "You know, let's just take a second." It has to do with where their conversation is taking them. I mean, if you
Right.
perceive that they're
Or
a
what
little,
audience you're talking to,
say it one more time.
what audience you're talking to.
Exactly. And I kind of like that about Jesus here. Jesus is, in 11 and 12, is got different audiences all the time. And he's not a cookie cutter in each instance. I like that about him. What do you want to say, John?
When I was working at a summer camp half a century ago, there was a guy who came from Australia who was our lifeguard. He looked like the the mothers would all come and bring their kids. All they do is they stare at this lifeguard. But he was a real nice kid, and he used to use the phrase all the time, "No flies on him,"
Yeah.
which is an Australian phrase which means only the smart ones don't get killed, you know. And there's no flies on Jesus. He's sending a message to John, who is in prison, put there by Herod, who's
Right.
incredibly. And it's not that Jesus is afraid of being killed. He has something to do, and it has to be done. Why make it more complicated by stirring up stuff that's going to get stirred up on its own?
That's good. I
Very
like it a lot.
little of that has to do with my friend who was a lifeguard, other than the phrase, but you know.
Well, I like it. I like it a lot.
He looked like the Yardley guy, that's what he looked like.
I have no idea what to say now. Anyway.
I'll stop.
Okay, what else do you want to say about these initial 6 verses? John is in prison. Jesus is out working. And he gives, sending word to John, we're doing fine. I'm doing what I came to do.
And that last sentence, God bless you if you're not upset by what I'm doing.
There you go.
It's interesting.
God bless you.
See, it seemed like Jesus tried to warn John to tone it down because he knew what was coming,
Huh.
but he doesn't send any message of take it easy, you'll be fine, you know.
Yeah.
I'm here with you, etc.
Well, he's not gonna be fine. He's gonna die.
There's no, you know, kind of, let's say a friend who's terminally ill,
Yeah,
there's no arm around him to say, hey,
that's a good point.
we'll be okay, we'll be
Right.
okay.
It wasn't a nurturing response.
No.
It was more of a business-like response.
Right.
Okay.
Wasn't it nurturing?
Oh, say more.
Well, I'm saying is it, look what you see. He's saying to him, there's hope in what you see.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
And you're part of a movement that
yeah.
is going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
I did too.
And he also knows that John has no problem looking after the Romans.
Yes, it's true. I know people like that. So,
My Bible closes by saying, happy is the man who does not lose faith in me.
Yeah, I like
Wow.
that.
I like the way that.
I like that one better.
I guess I think that's probably the
Right.
comfort that was there. And then the other thing is, well, what did Jesus say that didn't get written down?
Oh.
What did Matthew forget to write? Yeah. Well, the other thing, how come Jesus didn't go visit John in prison?
Right.
What's the
Because
distance?
Jesus
Huh?
probably knew
Say it
he'd
again?
be joining.
What's,
Yeah, where
I mean,
was
there's all kinds of answers to that.
yeah,
Norma.
what's
Yeah.
the distance between where, yeah, and feet get tired.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
physical
It's
distance.
also that Jesus knew that they'd probably stick him in there too.
Yeah, I mean, taking a big chance.
You can't get God's work done if you're locked up.
Right.
You know, at least
Mhm.
it makes your mission field a lot smaller. It's
If you're a
just the
friend of
guys in
John's,
there.
you're gonna be in here too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to find out when okay, John baptizes Christ, and then how long is the time between then and John going in prison?
Not
Is
long.
it short?
I think it's, I don't know precisely, but I lean towards short. I
Yeah,
lean
because
towards
they kind
short.
of jump into the fact that, you know, John was there baptizing the
Uh-huh.
multitudes, and then next thing we hear about it,
And he called him
John's in
life.
prison.
Okay.
And John says things about Herod and about being married to his, you know, his brother's wife. And them is fighting words. John isn't trying to get along.
No,
John's mission
She's a
is
rebelizer.
never get along. Whereas Jesus is more all over the place. Sometimes he's comforting, sometimes he's cajoling, sometimes he's condemning, sometimes he's inspired. You know, Jesus has a long ministry, whereas John's is pretty short. So,
John is an older man though, too, right?
6 months.
6 months older.
6 months?
that's
That's
all.
all.
I
Yeah.
promise.
We do know that.
Because remember, they recognized each other in the room, but John was ahead.
Oh, okay.
Remember
Yeah.
Elizabeth? when
No
she-
more than 6 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Unless
okay.
it's
Wow.
And our Catholic friends have wasted no time in the last millennia. You commemorate St. John the Baptist 6 months after
Oh.
Jesus' birth.
Oh, exactly.
Exactly. So, yeah, so yeah, I would say 6 months older.
When John was in prison too, I think if the history I recall correctly, Herod was afraid of him
Yes,
because he thought he was a holy man. And it wasn't until he promised the dancer that whatever you want, I'll give you.
So,
yeah,
And she wanted his head.
Yeah.
she
yeah.
didn't, her
That's
mother
Her
did.
mother did.
Not a
Yeah, that's true.
pleasant, not a
Yeah.
pleasant story by any
No.
means, but
No.
yeah, John flamed out early, and you know he was there saying the things that needed to be said, but he wasn't mincing words.
Yeah, but Christ was amazing.
He's
So
arrested and
when-
jailed.
When John left, Jesus took on.
Well,
He never got out of jail this time, did he?
No,
No,
John
he
did
was
not. No,
done.
he was there
This is
until he
the
was
end.
beheaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be in jail until he's killed. Yeah. What do
I
you want
was,
to say, Joe?
I was just drawing an analogy out of physics. If you turn on your refrigerator, it uses its most power in the first few seconds. and then it goes down to normal. John was that ignition point for the ministry of Jesus. He used a lot of energy, flamed quick, but that's what he started and welcomed thinking about God in ways that people hadn't. I think
Yeah,
that's really
he was a
good.
precursor.
Yeah, he was.
He was. It's interesting, you know, I know we could really go down these rabbit holes, but the truth is, it's nice to me to see all kinds of personality following Jesus or announcing Jesus. I mean, sometimes I'm a little bit of a firebrand. I like watching John be a firebrand. He's laughing at me. He's seen me be a firebrand. But I don't have to always be, right? We can learn from John. We can learn from Jesus' choices here too.
Jesus' friends didn't have a dress code that they had to comply with.
No,
To be
you're
friends.
killing me.
Wasn't a lot of choices back then.
Okay, who wants to read 7 through 15 for me? The identity of John the Baptist. Dun, 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 dun.
As the messengers were going away, Jesus began to speak to the crowds about John. What were you expecting to see, he asked, when you went out into the desert? A reed wobbling in the wind? No. Then what were you expecting to see? Someone dressed in silks and satins? If you want to see people like that, you'll have to go to somebody's royal palace. All right, so what were you expecting to see? A prophet? Ah, now we're getting there. Yes, indeed, and much more than a prophet. This is the one the Bible was talking about when it says, "See, I'm sending my messenger ahead of you, and he will clear your path before you." I'm telling you the truth, John the Baptist is the greatest mother's son there ever was. But even the least significant person in heaven's kingdom is greater than he is. From the time of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been forcing its way in, and the men of force are trying to grab it. All the prophets and the law you see made their prophecies up to the time of John. In fact, if you'll believe it, he is Elijah, the one who was to come. If you've got ears, then listen.
Okay, so it was really good we had that conversation about John the Baptist because now Jesus is going to tell us about John the Baptist. And why? Why do you think we're getting, an Oscar nomination speech here from Jesus about John? Why?
It's almost a eulogy.
It's almost a eulogy.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great word.
Also to show that the Old Testament is being fulfilled.
Right.
You know, it's showing.
Okay, what else? What else is Jesus pointing out about John in these words? These are important
Supporting
words.
his words.
He's supporting him.
Yeah.
He is. He's not distancing
Because
himself.
there was
Right.
there was a lot of false prophets in that time. They were saying and doing things to shape people for their own gain.
Yes.
So when he was talking about he was not just a prophet, but he was a great prophet.
And he was speaking to the crowds
Mhm.
like that too. So he
Yeah. This wasn't a conversation with three people. in the
right. It
corner of
wasn't
the
his
room.
disciples.
This
It
was
was
to
the
the crowd.
crowd.
If I was a listener of Jesus hearing this, the one question that would stick in my mind, what do you mean, new kingdom? What do you mean, old kingdom? What's so different?
Yeah. Yeah. He's painting a picture about why John came,
Right.
and he's taking it up a notch. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You thought this was going to be someone in silks and satins? No, that's not the kind of kingdom we're building. This
Right.
is very different.
Mm.
It's shaking up their preconceptions
Right.
while he's extolling John.
Well, he had to break through a lot of predisposed decisions and opinions that people had,
Yep.
and set forth by other people claiming to be greater than them. So,
What do you think about the Elijah line?
yeah,
Happens a lot in the Bible, in the New Testament. Is this Elijah come again? You know, those conversations happen a lot. And he's throwing the Elijah name into the conversation. So what is he trying to do by doing that?
He's clarifying.
He's clarifying.
right.
So why do you think he's clarifying when he says Elijah? Elijah is the greatest prophet of the
Up
Old
until that
Testament.
time, yeah.
Everybody would say so.
And the crowd would have known it.
They would
The
have
audience
known
would
it.
have known it, yeah.
Do you remember parts? Oh, I'm not going to know. If there's a quiz, I'm going to flunk. But there's several parts in the Bible where it's mentioned. Is he Elijah come again?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, when
Because,
they went to the top of the mountain,
Yeah.
the disciples.
because Elijah's the man.
Mhm.
Elijah's the guy. He was the greatest prophet of the Old Testament.
Mhm.
So when
And
they
like
see,
you said, they all knew that.
they
yeah.
all knew that. You know, it's like us going to Sunday school and knowing, behold, I stand at this door and knock. You know,
Mhm.
it's something really simple.
Mhm.
You learn it. Elijah's the guy. He's the prophet of the Old Testament. And so he talks about John being Elijah. Wow. That's a big deal.
Mhm.
Yep, just a weird thought out there. We talk about Old Testament, about law and the prophets. And that's why Moses is on the mountain, bringing the law.
Mhm.
Well, then, if you're going to the New Testament, what's the counterweight to the prophet Elijah? It's Jesus,
Jesus.
who's not just the law, he's the law fulfilled.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
That'll preach. Coming to a sermon
That's
near
not what
you.
this passage- But that's not what this passage says.
Tell me what it says.
Oh, no.
Well,
No, it says
I
John's
think
alive.
it's saying that John the Baptist is Elijah.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
Okay, oh, I thought you said the contrast between Elijah
The
and Jesus.
counterbalance. Like if you talk about the Old Testament, yeah. I
I'm
mean, if
sorry.
Moses and Elijah are the law and the prophets, John the Baptist and Jesus are the new version of the prophet and the law.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was
That's
doing two
personality,
things. I was
yeah.
trying to find out why John got arrested. That's troubling me.
Oh,
And
'cause he
Wikipedia didn't tell
bad
me. I
mouthed-
scrolled and
bad
scrolled and
marriage.
A lot of this.
Yeah.
Chatting a lot.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, he called them out all the time,
Yeah.
right in the
He
face.
wasn't shy.
So, this conversation just, I don't have it in my notes, I just thought of it, so we'll see if it's any good. One thing I really like about Matthew, and what I have tried to mention to you guys every time I'm up here, is Matthew equates Jesus with Moses. You know, many, many times. Moses is the one who creates, who takes them to the promised land, who changes their situation because of following God. Jesus is taking them to the promised land in this new revelation that he's doing. So if you're a person like Matthew who really thinks the Old Testament is important to be part of this message, of course he's going to bring up
Sure.
Elijah. So Elijah and Moses are the big two
They're
of the
stars
Old
of the Old
Testament.
Testament, yeah.
And so now we've got Elijah and Moses in John the Baptist and Jesus.
What happens and
Thing.
prophesies in the old comes to life in the new.
It's a nice parallel, I think.
And you have to know, you have to read the first to know
Right.
the second.
And remember, Matthew, it feels to me really strongly that he's writing to an educated Jewish audience.
Mhm.
So
I really like what you just said.
I wonder if I'll remember it ever again.
No, but one of the things that's interesting when you compare Jesus and Moses is that Moses brings him to real estate. Jesus brings him to the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven,
Mhm.
because he wouldn't say God. You know.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, it's a different. It's beyond.
Right.
It's a realistic.
There's more than what belongs on this earth.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about Matthew, though, as he always brings it back to the Old Testament, too,
Yes,
to show us where it was in the Old Testament, to see, even for us, that these are being fulfilled.
Mhm.
It is my goal that when I see you all in the years ahead, when we're in church and the readings are Matthew, one of you will look at me and go, because when you walk into church on Sunday, I think it's nice to know, oh, I know something about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just what I'm going to hear and experience. I've got some layers inside me so that I can assess what's said and done. So.
Yeah, otherwise it's just words on a piece of paper. You know.
There you go. Okay, what else do we want to say? We're whipping through this, guys. I'm kind of impressed. What else do you want to say about 7 through 15?
Take heed.
Okay, I have a question at the end. Apparently, yesterday when I wrote this out, I thought of something smart. So is Jesus being cagey to stay out of Herod's way? Or is he making a bigger point than just thumbing his nose at Herod? What do you think?
I almost think Jesus really doesn't want to bother with him. You know, I think
Doesn't want
he's
to
just
bother.
like, you know,
Doesn't even bother with
you
him.
know,
Okay.
Say more.
I don't wanna,
Oh,
you're gonna run out of words and then you're gonna turn to violence. And so it won't be a proper discussion.
Okay,
And it's just, he's already shown he's locked up John.
Mm-hmm.
So why go, you know?
yeah.
I think he's trying to keep a low profile, just,
Okay, and I think
Out of
there's
the way.
something.
Right, that's what it is.
But not too low.
So is that okay? Does that feel disingenuous for Jesus to
no,
keep a
because he
low
knows he has a
profile?
I
mission.
don't think I'd ever accuse him of doing that.
I'm trying to provoke you into new thoughts.
No, I think whatever he did was planned.
well,
What?
maybe he just feels like he wants to be a moving target.
Oh,
So that's
Well, he
not-
knows he has work to do.
Right.
He's got things
Yeah.
he has to do before.
So I'll just kind of scoot over here and then I'll scoot over there and they're still looking for me.
He's
Well,
on
I'll
the
move
move.
around.
Yeah, he's on the move.
He's not
You know.
done seeding his fields.
When he sent the disciples out, he told them, if anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake the dust off your feet when you leave that home or town.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Is he doing that to her?
Oh, I like it. So he's engaging what Herod's up to, but like, and yet I'm done with this guy, and moves on. Maybe so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe so. I like that. I hadn't.
I
done
mean,
that.
it was like what,
I know,
Yeah.
but I like your visual.
Well, there-
Visuals help me.
There's a very clear light shined on Herod. I was reminded by N.T. Wright what was on Herod's coin.
oh yeah.
A reed, you know, and the coin. And that when he says, were you coming out to see a reed? That's where the reed comes from. That's definitely a reference. And then he goes on and describes the style of this guy and palaces and you know, this Antipas was a builder like his father was, you know, among being a polyper
He's
destroyer,
not
murderer.
complimenting Herod in any way.
Huh?
There's no room. There's nowhere here that he's complimenting Herod.
No,
He's
none.
not calling him a dirty dog, but he's coming.
But he's not saying directly
Yeah,
yet.
Church, you didn't want to do this.
which I don't blame him for.
No.
Yeah.
That's false.
It was interesting that we lived over in Bend for a while,
Uh-huh.
for quite a few years. And we were at the Episcopal Church. There was Paul Morton. Did you know Paul at all?
Boy, that sounds familiar, but I can't think.
But he's passed now. But he got his divinity qualification at Yale.
Uh-huh.
He knew his stuff, but
Mhm.
he felt like he had to be a moving target as far as doing, you know.
He never wanted to have his own church. And while he was at Yale, he wanted, when he graduated, he wanted to set up a church in the local bar. And the people there weren't real supportive of that concept. But
Sounds like fun.
he was a fun guy.
There was some, with Paul too, when he was younger, I think he was, well, he'd be about 80 now, I think he was about the same age as me. And he was involved with some of the demonstrations with
Mhm.
Vietnam and such, and so one time it got close to, what happened with that one, I don't know. But it scared him. And so he said, oh, I'm gonna be a moving target. you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
He was a tall, big, sort of like you, tall, big man, fairly good size.
It's interesting. When you're preaching about Jesus, it's you are a target pretty often. And
Yeah.
the question is, do you try to do as much good as you can and keep it real, or do you confront the powers that be? And that question's on there all the time. Every pastor you know thinks about it.
Yeah.
I thought I turned my phone off.
No, it was a scam likely. Man. They're calling me all the time.
Oh,
All right, shall we move on to 16 through 24? Have I got a volunteer to read those verses, please?
To what can I compare this generation? They are like children sitting in the marketplaces and calling out to others. We played the flute for you, and you did not dance. We sang a dirge, and you did not mourn. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, he is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by her actions. How far?
Through
24.
Okay.
24, please.
Then Jesus began to denounce the cities in which most of his miracles had been performed, because they did not repent. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! If the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more bearable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted to the skies? No, you will go down to the depths. If the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Sodom, it would have remained to this day. But I tell you that it will be more bearable for Sodom on the day of judgment than for you.
Well, gee, we just went from a whole paragraph of Jesus being kind of calming and gentle, and now Jesus is going after it,
Yeah.
condemning the cities. Well, what do you want to talk about? Why is he doing it?
Would it be really out of place if I read a little of the book of Revelation?
You're trying to scare me. Yeah, read Revelation.
No, in the in the comments about all the cities, the different cities, the church in Laodicea, these are the words of the Amen, faithful and true witness, the ruler of God's creation. I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either, or one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth.
That's right.
This, when I read this thing, okay, this is a political reference.
It is.
It is people who care more about being on the right side or the right party, not about the things that are things of justice. We see it so much right now. I mean, it's just so ridiculous that going for truth on either party doesn't seem to be the issue. It's getting my way. And that, to me, when I see this, these people, they don't want to commit. They don't want to take a leap of faith.
No.
They don't want to do anything. Okay, is that wrong?
No,
Well, they don't.
Patooey!
And not only do they not want to do it, Jesus is comparing them to the most sinful cities
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Bible. Jews hearing them, their selves and their behavior compared to Tyre and Sidon and Sodom, it's the worst insult he could give them.
yeah, what happened to Sodom?
Yeah, these are fighting words. These are fighting words. Jesus is laying down big words here about. Go ahead. I cut this nice guy off.
No, that's what he did. That's what
Who is
God
he
did.
talking to? Is he talking to the apostles? at
Who is he
this point?
talking to? He's,
Well,
Is he still
the
crowned?
title of this one, starting on 20, says, Woe to the impenitent cities.
yes, woe to the impenitent cities.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So
seem like it's been a change of venue, so I think he's still talking to the same
Same
people.
crowds, yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you guys think too?
Yeah.
It looks like it's still the same people he was talking to about John. And now he's talking about, and by the way, the cities suck. Okay. And so how come we jumped from kind of medium warm to burning hot? Why has Jesus gone all the way here to talk about these cities are done for? They're sinful. What is he doing? Why is he going so loud?
I think he laid kind of a foundation,
Yeah.
and now he's stepping the game up, and he is letting people know that you need to take a stand. You're going to stand on the light, or you're going to stand in the dark. And I urge you not to stand in the dark. Stay in the dark, or dwell in the dark. Come into the light, which is the light of Jesus, the light of God. I think that his level just seems to pick up as we go further through,
His
because
level
Jesus
picks
is
up.
aware of his time.
But
Subtly, he's aware of it.
he's talking about John the Baptist. That
Mhm.
deserves a question. Talking about, that Herod guy. And now, by the way, you people. your cities are condemned.
Right.
And how do you think he is speaking to them? In what tenor?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah,
Is-
I think he has gotten angry.
Is
We
this-
know he can do that.
Yeah.
It's more of a direct, you know. It's like
Well, he
when you
doesn't
painted
s-
the garage door pink and your folks look at you and their voice gets a little more direct.
Yeah, he's not saying, are you guys wearing pink today, your church? I mean, but he's saying these cities, but these cities are their cities. These are, I mean, to be compared to Tyre and Sidon, which are just trash in the Old Testament. Wow. I mean, this is big. Jesus is not just saying, you guys have some stuff to work on.
So thinking about, like Nancy said, what's the tenor of this message?
I appreciate it, yeah.
What's coming into my head, and I don't want to draw any conclusions or anything from this, but Portland's a terrible town and it's all burning. And Minneapolis is just a mess. And we gotta sit and,
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's painting with a broad brush.
it's painting with a broad brush, and I don't think that, well, I know that Jesus didn't lie, so Jesus must really mean this, because that's the, I don't want to say that's the voice I hear, but that's the kind of voice I hear.
Right.
And as upsetting as that is to people who like Portland,
On a globe.
I don't think the cities are the point.
Say more.
I don't think that, I mean, he's because people sometimes find security in the place they're from.
Yeah.
They identify with their local culture. They compare it to another culture. Jesus isn't really worried about the cities. He's worried about the people
In the cities.
in the cities.
In the cities,
Do you remember
yeah.
how low the bar was to save Sodom?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You could find 10.
10.
yeah.
10
10
people.
people.
I mean, the bar was really
Kept going
low.
cheaper.
It wasn't the city.
Started out with 50.
Yeah, and that's the best debate I've ever seen. No, but I mean, and I don't think he don't trust in that in real estate, you know.
A curse on
Yeah.
you, Horace.
Yeah, so it's not about the earthly things, it's about the people in these places.
Absolutely. It's about how that city as a whole is acting, I
Right.
suppose.
Well, he talks about in the 16, he says, to what can I compare this generation? He's talking about
Mhm.
the folks that are right now in power,
Mhm.
or living their lives in their prime. What are they up to?
I really appreciate that. He's not talking about their reputation as a city who's always been messed up. He's talking about right now.
Mhm.
And I like that distinction that you brought there.
The city as a whole.
Okay, so why does Jesus need to say to them, you, right now, your city, your family,
He cares
they're going the
for them.
wrong way?
He
Yeah,
cares for them.
cares for them.
Decision time.
It's tough. I like the idea of the tenor. What is the tenor? He's trying to reach out to that person right there in
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
him. Maybe without scaring them away, without offending, so that they will hear his message. So is it a loud voice? Does Jesus get angry ever?
Yeah.
But is this a place for him to get angry?
I like
Is
that
this a
question.
situation?
I like that question.
Diplomacy, there's, how is he gonna reach his audience?
Mhm.
Verse 21, though, it seems like he is angry.
A
Yeah.
curse on you.
Yes.
Well, and the subheading that N.T. Wright uses,
No.
Jesus condemns the cities.
Mhm.
This is not namby-pamby stuff. But it also doesn't say Jesus condemns every person sitting in front of him. It doesn't say that.
Right.
No.
So this really is maybe about local politics at
Maybe
this
it is.
time. And again, to today's world, we can say, we do say a lot of bad things about not necessarily cities, but what are we saying about countries now? What do we think about Iran today? And what do we think about Venezuela and Russia? What's that? Colombia and but no one in having those kinds of thoughts about the politics and the power structure that's letting things happen is condemning every person.
I like this.
So Jesus is not condemning every person, but there's a system here. There's a system that's corrupt, and there's a lot of people buying into it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or not doing anything about it.
Or not, okay, complacency. That's back to his lukewarm point.
It really is.
Oh, and by the way, so why is that word named after one of the four gospel writers?
What word?
Lukewarm.
Lukewarm?
Plus, these are all cities that are familiar to them.
You're killing me.
We're
Right,
all
and they are
local.
cities that
These are all things they can relate to,
Yeah.
and so they can.
But
So,
what's going on in these cities? Do we have any historical context?
No, they're lukewarm.
They're
Jesus
lukewarm.
has been there. He's preached at these cities, and they're not. And he draws a comparison. You know, these other terrible places they would have been a little better than you are. And I think people are failing to engage in what Jesus is telling them, and it's absolutely true. And it's, you know. By the way, I do not think Jesus yelled. And the reason I don't think he yelled is because that's not God's style. I love the story about Elijah. When he goes out and he stands on the mountain, God rips a snot apart of the mountain with the wind, and the earthquake, and the fire. But he speaks in a gentle voice, And when you start yelling at people, they stop listening.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Jesus is smart enough to know that.
All right, so I'm taking that. So
I'll quit.
Jesus is not yelling at them. He's been. This feels like it's been building. You know, he's talking about John, and how he's been oppressed. And by the way, all these towns around me, you guys are just not paying any attention
a little
until you shake
more
the dust.
stern in his words.
Yeah, shake the dust from your sandals and move on. And he's ratcheting it up to try and get their attention. That's what I'm hearing. Go ahead.
Well, I heard when we were reading this section, a fear component of it. And if I was an apostle there listening to this and leaned over to Matthew and said, "Are you following this? You know, we're about to go off to these different cities and so forth." And Jesus is saying, Sodom and Gomorrah will be higher elevated
Yep,
than
than
these
you.
other places, than you. So what are we supposed to do?
Well,
How do we stay out of?
He's emboldening them, you know, he's giving them a little more strength to let,
He could
so
be
that
scaring
if they're
them.
wavering at all,
He could be scaring.
He's trying to tell them the truth, he's trying to
sure.
condition them, in a sense.
Well, sometimes we need the truth. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, how many times have I heard, you know, during my life, you know, you need to have a balanced diet like this. And my husband came home from a meeting yesterday and he goes, "Do you know what they fed us? Baked potatoes and sour cream." He says, "Have they ever heard of protein?" You know, he's on a majority protein diet, and he was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I said, you know, and he said something about church ladies who made it, and I said, "Honey, it wasn't those, it was those church ladies. That was it wasn't church ladies in general."
Send him off with a pocket full of jerky.
He wanted jerky, absolutely.
Jesus talked about this in chapter 10. He says, I didn't come to bring peace, I came
Came
to
to
bring
bring
a
a
sword.
sword.
The sword being their recognized, like I said last week, it's their most powerful tool, but I think a sword, a lot of it is his tongue. Jesus' tongue and his words. So when he comes and he's really direct, he's kind of like putting a line in the sand and saying, what side do you want to be
Good.
on? No more standing in the middle and putting up with things.
Nice.
I was thinking about that after we were talking about that, the statue that we have for justice, you know, she's got a blindfold on and a sword.
Yeah.
Is that where we get that from? From this?
I don't think so. I think it's a very ancient visual in that you need to be both balanced and ready to cut the chaff away.
The sword is a symbol of power.
Yeah. So I just have to put in a plug. Okay, the classes that my pastor, Pastor Leah did this last year. I don't know if you guys went to the discipleship classes. And one of the reasons I love those is because she spent time teaching about the hierarchy of how the church is organized and how things get done through the hierarchy. Because, I don't know about you, but I've been in groups in every church I belong to where they say, oh, the church leadership has no idea what they're doing. They're not paying attention to this, that, or the other thing. And that's why I really appreciated those classes where she talked about these are the responsibilities of these people. These are what they have to strive with in order to look for God's way in the choices that we make. And it's just this blanket. It's that city feels like it's the same kind of thing. Well, it's Chorazin. Well, it's the church leadership. You know, Jesus is making a point. Be who you know. Be a source of power. Be a source of growth where you are, and change those cities from the inside out. He smiles at me, and I know he's got something to say.
No, you will very rarely hear me quote the Book of Revelation because I think it's the most misused book in the Bible, and here's why I think so. People are always looking at that book to figure out what side am I on,
right,
and how the other side is wrong. And when we start looking for the groups that are wrong, the cities that are wrong, everything like that, we are ignoring the most important thing. Michael Jackson said it best. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. It's me.
It is. It always should be.
Yeah.
Judgment is not for us. Judgment is for God.
So all these big conversations that Jesus has happened is putting forth is designed to make us look at ourselves, right?
Exactly.
And our actions and our choices.
Isn't any different than Genesis 3, where
The woman gave it to me.
God says, Adam, where are you?
I'm hiding.
Exactly.
I'm hiding.
I just exposed myself.
Well, and maybe the point is that these are people that are hiding.
They're hiding.
We're hiding from reality.
Yeah. Don't put my name in to be a volunteer. You know.
Yeah.
You guys.
We all do it.
Yeah. Okay, I really like, I'm building this up because the last section of this chapter takes us in the direction I think you want. For 25 through 30, has someone got an interest in reading that for us?
I'll try it.
Thank you.
So it just goes down there.
Sorry, Jesus' invitation.
At that time, Jesus turned to God with this prayer. I give you my praise, Father, Master of heaven and earth. You had these things from the wise. You hid these things from the wise and intelligent and revealed them to children. Yes, Father, that's the way you decided to do it. My Father gave me everything. Nobody knows the Son except the Father. And nobody knows the Father except the Son. And anyone the Son wants to reveal him, and anyone the Son wants to reveal him to. Are you having a real struggle? Come to me, and you carry a big load on your back. Come to me. I'll give you a rest. Pick up my yoke and put it on. Take lessons from me. I'll be gentle with you. The last thing in my heart is to give you a hard time. You'll see, rest you need, and rest you shall have. My yoke is easy to wear. My load is easy to bear.
Thank you. Okay, so the next time you see a pastor do this, because we do it all the time, where we make some big point and shake you up, and then we make you pray. So, I mean, it's the perfect thing to do. He's just shaking everybody up, and he goes directly to prayer to his Father. And I love the fact that Jesus realized there's a point to stop railing on people and a point to start praying. It's a beautiful moment, I think. He's like, all right, that's enough.
You get the point.
Your Father loves you. Don't forget that. Let me show you.
Grace and mercy.
Grace and mercy.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but now you're going to see it. I'm expecting to have all of you look at me when I do this in public, when I've said something mean and then immediately pray. So it's what we do, because both things are true. We need to be shaken up, and God loves us at the same time.
Same thing we do with our children.
It's the same way we raise our children. Nice.
I'm just laughing about what you just said about everybody's going to notice. When I was in when I was in Sweet Home, there was one thing that people noticed. How many times I grabbed my head in the sermon?
He always does that. They used to count how many times he
They'd
did.
count?
And then they knew when it was almost, when he was about
When
ready
he was
to
almost
pray.
done.
Oh no, I pound my head all through.
But you can hear it when I'm preaching. When I've made this amazing point, we're ready to
Yeah,
pray.
yeah.
And I really like that Jesus is bombastic here, and then now
That's
he's
how we
praying.
solve it, as you go to
praying to
prayer.
his Father.
Number one commandment, frequently.
Honor the Lord.
No. Most frequently repeated. It's a commandment. It's to fear not.
Fear God.
Fear not. Yeah. Commandment.
I like how he
That's
brings
not a
it back
commandment.
to children
He
too.
does. He brings it right back to children.
And how he did earlier when he said, if you give a cup of water to a child, you give a cup of water to me.
Mhm.
And so.
That's why he loved children, because they weren't polluted
Well, they're gonna
by all the stuff
all
that
the
adults
other
get.
stuff.
Mhm.
Right, and that's
He
why he
always-
said, his father, he acknowledges that his father sends the message through the children first.
That's right.
Well, I think we'll see this in Matthew 18, but what's it written? I think I have it here. Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right there.
Innocence.
Right
We
there.
have to embrace the innocence of children.
Right. Right. It's not, being a follower of God is not a kindergarten project. But if you don't have the heart of a kindergartner, you're going to mess it up.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, it's complex, but love is not complex. Love is something the 5-year-old
But you
understands.
look at a 5 or 6-year-old, how much trust they have.
Yeah.
They're not old enough to second guess you.
Oh, no, I'm picturing
That's when
my
they're
17-year-old granddaughter. I'm sorry.
That's when they're teenagers.
Yeah, it shifts a little bit then. So what are you seeing here? What are you seeing here that I didn't notice, that we haven't pointed out?
Well, the title of this in this Bible is Rest for the Weary.
Very nice.
Mhm. Well, and are you having a struggle? Come to me. Are you carrying a big load? Come to me. In other words, come to him for everything.
Yeah, yeah.
For my
And
load?
also, I think
Yeah.
that load might not be the right load. I mean, let's be
Mhm.
honest. Sometimes we're carrying a lot of stuff that we don't really gotta carry.
Yeah.
There's a load to carry, for sure, of bringing God's love to the world. Maybe the load we're carrying isn't the one we need to have.
I wonder how we lose that perspective too as a child. Because, you know, as you're describing it, if the father is inviting people to come to him as you would a parent,
Yes.
like as your mother or your father and stuff. If you had something you didn't know how to handle, you might, as a small child, you might go to them and say, hey, how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
But later on, as we age, we lose that childhood
Right. Try to
perspective.
figure it out ourselves.
Yeah.
Our own plan, yeah.
Yeah. But
And we
that's-
tend to cover the things of this world. And when we let those go and know that those things are just gifts that God provided.
Right.
But the true gift is salvation. And
Yeah.
when we just carry that, it's a lot lighter load.
Sure.
You know, I sometimes in my head forget that this is not what's written on the Statue of Liberty, but it's very similar. Bring to me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses,
Yearning.
yearning to be free. And right now, I mean, this whole, the immigration thing over the last, the disarray, the disorder is disturbing. But what do you do when people are here? They ostensibly were invited by a government you may or may not have liked, but they are here. How do you treat them?
Yeah.
And it's not simple. It's not something you treat with a hatchet. You have to treat it with your heart.
Being a walking, talking, breathing Christian on this planet is complex.
Yeah.
We have jobs to do. We really do. But so I just watched the Knives Out movie, the third one that's out, and every pastor on the planet loves this movie.
Really? I haven't seen it.
Oh
Yeah,
my God!
I
It's
saw it
so
on the plane.
wonderful. I mean, he's solving a mystery. All right,
Yeah.
this priest is, and he's
Daniel
solving
Craig?
a mystery, and he's really into it, and he's
Oh.
working with the people, and he gets on the phone with this person to try and get some information to help solve the mystery, and the person is talking to a priest, and is in pain, and starts talking about her own personal relationship pain, and this guy wants to solve the gosh darn mystery, and
Different
just needs a
agendas.
little information out of this person, but you watch. He hears the sound of her voice and that she needs solace, she needs companionship, she needs comfort. And he says, oh. And he's done working on the mystery. And he's caring for the person on the line. And I have to say, I mean, Joe and I are sitting there watching it, we're like, yes! Because that's the job. There's a lot of mysteries to solve, there's a lot of problems, but the number one job is caring for the pain of those we meet. And I just love that. And you see how Jesus has gone from, let's talk about what's wrong with the world, and by the way, your Father loves you so much. We get to pull together for that moment here at the end of the chapter. I just think Matthew's rocking it. So.
Verse 29, right, translates it, pick up my yoke and put it on. Take lessons from me, or my Bible says, learn from me.
Oh.
And who does that? Children.
Yeah.
Children learn, I mean, children are this sponge that just wants to soak up. And I think we need to be more than be like children. We need to be children of God
Yes.
and keep learning.
Yeah, when we talk about children, like children come into the world with nothing, and we leave with nothing. And if you think somebody once gave me an image of, you never see a hearse with a U-Haul trailer behind it.
No pockets in a shroud.
Right. So it's, the perspective of learning to be children again of God is a key, I
It's
think.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that saying about the truth. When Luther died, there was a note in his pocket. You remember what it said?
No,
We are all just beggars.
we are.
Beggars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mercy.
Well, I had fun with this chapter. I don't know about you. So,
Yeah.
who would like to
You've
pray
done
us?
good.
Who wants to pray us out of here? Okay, it's me. Precious Lord, thank you for loving us. It is what makes all the difference. Help us to love each other, love ourselves, and love our world every day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good job.
There we go.
And just a little plug, we've all heard of Samaritan's Purse and Franklin Graham. He's calling for a
Oh,
national
at
day of
noon.
prayer today at noon.
I
Yeah.
did not read that.
Yeah.
For us to pray for our country
Yeah, pray
and
for our
leaders
country.
and the.
Politics aside, pray for our